And my first shout out goes to all New York drivers, to the taxi union who stood up against Uber on Sunday, Feb 26. You had a lot of drivers striking in LaGuardia. More importantly, you got a ton of media coverage, national coverage. I mean, you can go to Google and you can put in Uber News. The LaGuardia story is everywhere. So you did a great job. Now, the individual that I'm highlighting, I'm sorry to use this word, bitch, right? But when you have an individual as arrogant, as cold-hearted as Freddie Goldstein, it's a lady, right? I don't even want to call her a lady. She's a bitch, right? Double middle finger to the drivers, right? Again and again and again, saying, oh, her arrogant approach is, it's just a PR stunt. You're doing nothing. You're achieving nothing, right? In fact, we had more riders on that Sunday than ever before. Lady, if you have to go out and do your counter spin, right? I'm a veteran at this as well. If you have to do your counter spin, it means what the drivers and the taxi unions are doing is working. Because they wouldn't send their spokesman, their top spokesman, to try and smoothen out over the media, right? Oh, it didn't work. It was a PR stunt. Now, this woman was in the news in the most negative ways in 2022 when a lot of Uber riders, passengers turned against her, right? After the mass shooting in New York, they increased the surge. Like when people were panicking, trying to just get somewhere, you know, or get to safety, Uber capitalized on the surge during a mass shooting, right? And the riders and the passengers let her have it. They climbed into her, right? Because she truly is a cold-hearted bitch. That's what she is, right? I don't care what degree you have at Tulane or if you studied in Sydney, Australia, right, Freddie Goldstein, you do not know how to communicate with drivers. To turn around, right, when in December you sued Uber and the unions, right, because you did not want to follow through with the fare increase, giving them better earnings just before Christmas. You gave them a big FU, and then they striked. And again, she turned to the media, gave her counter spin and said it did not work. And then New York striked again. Now New York, never give up, right? You're under this woman's skin. What you are doing is working, and you need to strike again, right? Because if she turns around and says, oh, this is a cheap PR stunt, that's all they're trying to achieve. No, you wouldn't have drivers come out there and be vocal about their earnings, right? And take a day off and strike because they want a PR stunt. They're out there to achieve something. This is the part she does not get, right? Why do people protest and strike? Because they want to achieve something. They don't do that on a Sunday for fun. They can do 100 other things, Freddie Goldstein, right? They're not out there, oh, we're going to have fun with the media. No, they are trying to reach their goal. You are underpaying them. You are shortchanging them. They are standing up and being vocal. Now, she calls herself a communications manager. Ladies and gentlemen, let's look at the word communications and manager, right? Because a lot of people at Uber and Lyft are not able to communicate. Never mind listen. They obviously don't have ears. They don't know how to listen in the first place. But they truly do not know how to communicate. And you call this individual, Dara Koshashawi, your communications manager. I would ask for a refund because she is doing 10 times worse for the company, right? Instead of communicating, right? Oh, I understand, right? This is why drivers are striking. Maybe we should sit down at the table. She has a hardcore approach, and her hardcore approach is another PR stunt. Fuck you, ain't working. Another PR stunt, New York. Fuck you, ain't working. That is her approach. Now, Freddie, listen up, right? You're probably in the top 3 enemies of drivers in New York right now with your arrogant, cold-hearted approach. And your cold-heartedness goes back into 2022 when you jacked up the surge, right, during the mass shooting. People were laying into her. They hate her guts. You can read the Twitter feed, right? And she doesn't, a communications manager, you'd think she'd answer these people one by one. No. She comes out and makes a bold statement, and the passengers and the riders let her have it. They fucking hate her guts. And strike 1, she gives the middle finger. Strike 2, she gives the middle finger. Tell me, Freddie, you are a communications manager. Where did you communicate and where did you manage? Right? Because you failed that test, obviously, right? They should fire you and ask for a refund. You're a good for nothing manager, and communication skills, sorry, you don't have them, because your counterspin is so obvious. Now, I have my master's in psychology, right? Interesting thing, psychology. How does the mind work? How do people behave? How do people work? How do people communicate? How do they communicate with their body language? You really, really break it down. And if I have to make an assessment, I would take that title away from you, right? Because a communications manager sits down with unions and drivers and says, listen, what's the issue here, right? Let's get this resolved. Or a meeting of the minds, diplomacy. Sometimes both sides have to give up a little bit to achieve a goal so that parties can move forward. But when a communications manager comes out there with a double middle finger and tells drivers to fuck off, right? It's all just a big PR stunt. Oh, we already paid you. No, the drivers are protesting, ladies and gentlemen, in New York and in other cities. And soon we are going to be doing it for 365 days. You will have your work cut out, Freddie Goldstein. When my organized strikes kick in, I'm going to put you on overdrive. I'm going to keep you so busy because I understand the little game you play. I understand your psychological anti-spin mindset, right? And I can break you down bit by bit by bit. And that is my intention, Freddie. I'm going to keep you very, very, very busy in 2023, right? And I will keep on working with New York and say, strike again, because you are under her skin. You are on her radar, right? If she has to things over and hand her counter to the media, oh, it didn't work. It was a PR stunt. The strike didn't work. It worked very well. It made national headlines and it made every single headline in New York, and it got into a ton of blogs and a lot of news, online news outlets. So it worked. And they did this to you already twice, right? New York, don't give up, right? The fun is just starting. Right? Keep on doing, keep on pushing, keep on being relentless, because I can tell you, little Freddie Goldstein and her little crew, they are afraid, right? They are afraid that drivers have made inroads in New York and that they are connecting with the public and that they are educating the public about Uber's true ways. And she does not have a remedy. So what does she try to do? She tries to play hardball, right? Freddie tries to play hardball. But it is so obvious and so see-through. The psychology breaking this down is so simple that I can tell you, my friends, whatever you are doing there, whatever the unions are doing, I take my hat off, it is working. You have made massive waves in the media, and you had to get their top spokesman to come out to counterspin everything. That is when you know it is truly working, right? Because they just want to sort of brush it off. Oh, didn't work, didn't have any effect. Oh, it did have an effect. And to come out and say that you actually had more riders on the day. Listen, what the drivers and the unions did very well in advance, they educated all the passengers that you are going to have troubles on February the 26th if you need transport. So plan ahead. So what most of the people do is they'll send a family member to go and pick up that person from the airport. Why? Because the passenger already knows. The media, the TV, and the reporters and the newspapers have already communicated with them that there will be an issue on February the 26th. Get ready, get prepared, because you're not going to have transport. 25,000 drivers of the union are striking. Uber drivers are striking. Lyft drivers are striking. So don't come out there and spin lies and say, oh, you even had more bookings, more earnings than before. How stupid and how obvious have you made it, Freddie Goldstein? Showing the drivers that what they did worked. It worked. Because you took the bait, you tried to play hardball, and all your countermeasures were so transparent, so silly, so stupid, in fact, right? What you attempted to do there backfired. And I urge New York drivers, at least I will be organizing another strike there, right? Do it again at LaGuardia, do it again at JFK, because you are hurting them, you're getting their attention, right? And Dara, you might as well fire this girl, right? She's good for nothing, right? She is absolutely good for nothing, because a true communications manager does exactly this. They communicate. They don't use the middle finger. She gave a double middle finger after February the 26th. Fuck you, PR stunt didn't work. In fact, we had more bookings. That is a lie. And the strike before that, she said, didn't work. Middle finger. My friends, again, it's working. Keep on doing it. And Freddie, you will have your work cut out with me at least, because you're very easy to read, Freddie, right? We are going to strike for 365 days, airport after airport after airport. Now, I don't need the salary that Uber is paying you. I just need a good team of people that know what they're doing, that understand the game, right? Because we have the foot soldiers, and the foot soldiers are the Uber drivers and the food delivery drivers. They are already angry and pissed that you're not paying them, very obvious, and that you're not keeping them safe. So good luck with your little Uber anti-spin team there, Freddie. It's not working. Wait till we introduce you to the real world. Strike after strike after strike after strike after strike. Hundreds of thousands of drivers, soldiers, that'll stand up and say, we deserve better pay. Stop lying about this $36 or $39 average per hour, Freddie Goldstein. Not working. We've already broken it down for you. And stop spinning your lies, right? Because even the media is not covering your bullshit anymore, Freddie, right? So I think she gets the message. She's failed, right? Drivers cannot stand her guts. And this now has become one of New York's top 3 Uber enemies. Obviously Dara Khosrowshahi, because he's the final decision maker and doesn't do anything. Tony West, the CLO, who constantly fights the drivers and the unions in court, sues them. So he's the top two. And then number 3 on the shit list, Freddie Goldstein. Well done, Freddie Goldstein. You got the bronze medal on the shit list of the top 3 people that Uber drivers hate the most in New York City and in New York State, right? Again, I'll award the most hated award to Dara Khosrowshahi, number 2 to Tony West, number 3 to Freddie Goldstein. You got to do better, you 3. You got to do much better. And the way you do that is you don't sue, middle finger, arrogance, non-communication. But you actually sit down with these unions and say, let's work out a deal here, right? It's called diplomacy. It's called talking, right? And you play a tennis match, back and forth, and you iron out a tough contract that works for both sides. But you cannot go in there with a Dara Khosrowshahi approach, which is silence, ignore, hear no evil, speak no evil, because the guy cannot even communicate. That's not one of his skills, right? You cannot go in like Tony West, who just sues, settles for pennies, sues, lights, fires. That strategy doesn't work. Costs your company a lot of money. And you cannot send in a fool like Freddie Goldstein, who's supposed to communicate with the outside world, who's supposed to send a message to the public, to riders, to passengers, to drivers, to the media, to TV stations, but she cannot communicate, right? So you have a problem there. You have a big problem. And the truth is, the way you fix the problem is you fix the culture within Uber. You get rid of the CEO, you bring in someone that can communicate, right? You bring in a different CLO, not Tony West, because his approach ain't working, right? And you bring in true communication managers that actually know how to sit down and hash out a contract. And you're not always going to create the best win-win contract out there, but both sides have to give up a little bit so that you can move forward and iron out a contract. They're not able to do that, right? So good luck with your approach, and I hope some of the investors are listening, right? I'm trying to help you here, right? Because that is a skill set that I actually have. Very, very good communicator. And I understand the psychology of the human mind. And on top of it, I actually also have a very good business degree, right? From Europe. So, you know, I can play with the big boys. And I can offer my 5 cents of advice, right? Because the companies that I have built, and I'm not out to build an Uber, right? And I'm not out to get billions of dollars investors, but the companies that I have built, actually, most of the employees and most of the managers have stayed with me for years, some people for 20 years, right? So if you know how to treat people, if you know how to talk to people, if you know how to reward people properly, not with bullshit coupons and free cookies at 7-Eleven, that shit don't fly, right? Who wants a fucking cookie from 7-Eleven or coupons, right? You give them real rewards, real bonuses. You allow people to climb the ladder. You allow them to excel. You treat them well. You pay them. You raise their salary. You raise the bar if they do well, if their productivity is high. And if they are duds, you get rid of them and you replace them with the next good person. I mean, it's not difficult to run a company. And it's truly not difficult to communicate, Freddie Goldstein. Right? So let's see where this goes. My message here is, New York, don't stop. Start organizing the next strike. The union, you have 25,000 drivers. Start organizing the next strike, because I want to give you so much praise, right? Because you've brought such an important issue to the national news, and that is the mistreatment of drivers, pay-wise, earnings-wise, and the mistreatment of Uber and Lyft and DoorDash towards their independent contractors, not keeping them safe, not paying them, jerking off riders and passengers, right? Screwing them over. I mean, who increases the surge or manipulates the surge in a mass shooting, right? This is where Freddie Goldstein got called out big time. Like, this is where passengers actually hated her guts in 2022 because of what they did and because of the way they handled it, right? So if this chick has already failed in 2022, why is she still around in 2023, Derek Oshawi? Right? Because your hardball, double middle finger approach is just going to backfire. You are just going to make drivers more angry and more angry and more upset, right? And they're going to fight you and they're going to fight you and they're going to fight you. We have the numbers, you don't have the numbers. You are just going to spend money upon dollar on dollar after dollar after dollar is what Uber and these companies are going to spend to try and put out the fires or try and send in their attorneys. And all you achieve is more anger, more hatred towards the company, more anxiety, right? And more alienation of the drivers. They're leaving. And then you have to spend more money recruiting, getting new newbies, right? So your formula over there at Uber and Lyft and DoorDash, it ain't working. And I think the best way to back that up with the proof is look at your stock price, right? Look at Uber's stock price, back down to 35. Look at Lyft's stock price, $10, dismal. Look at DoorDash's stock price. It's all pathetic, right? And that's because the public has no faith in you anymore. It's because of your shenanigans, your continuous evil ways, your baiting and switching, your conning, you're fucking over, you're screwing over. People don't like those qualities. In fact, they rise up and they fight against such qualities. And that's what's happening in New York. Mark my words. The anger in New York is boiling over. You cannot go in there and tell New York drivers, go fuck yourself, this is a PR stunt. It doesn't work like that, right? So I'm saying they are boarding the Titanic or driving 180 miles towards a brick wall, all of these Uber execs, if they continue down this road. Right? You need to hire people that know how to talk to people, right? You have to win the hearts and minds of the drivers back, and that's going to be difficult, and that is a journey, and it'll probably take you an entire year with the right people to win the hearts and minds of the drivers back. You're going to tell you right now, I can go from channel to channel to channel and read thousands of comments. There is so much anger, there is so much hatred towards these companies because of the treatment that you are getting, right? Because of the mistreatment of drivers and food delivery drivers. Treating them like second, third class citizens. Take the scraps, take whatever we give you and shut up. That's your attitude. If you are a gig executive, that is the attitude that you are sending drivers. It is wrong and it's not going to work, right? Because you know, when you have a pressure cooker or a boiling pot, eventually it explodes, right? And God forbid, I don't want to read something crazy in the media that some person went berserk or some person went postal, right? But would you be surprised if something crazy happened or if someone went postal? I wouldn't be surprised, because people can only tolerate so much abuse and then they flip out. I mean, ultra testosterone, I mean, they listed at $45 and really never gotten over 35. public doesn't have faith in Uber anymore. The drivers, the food delivery drivers don't have faith in the leadership anymore. They don't have faith in the investors because the investors are not getting fresh, quality talent in there that really cares about the company. Is how can we exploit, how can we squeeze every last droplet out of that lemon, right? So again, I say to those investors and executives, good luck with that approach. Good luck. Go and enroll in some communication skills, right? Learn how to communicate, buy some books, right? And try again next week. Because whatever you're doing up to now, if we had to hold a vote, if you want to get rid of, if you had an option, getting rid of Dara Khosrowshahi and bringing Travis Kalanick back, how would you vote? I would be the first one to say Travis was no good, but Travis at least to some extent knew how to treat people and knew how to communicate and knew how to pay people, right? While they were still printing money. I mean, they were printing money, ladies and gentlemen. They were spending $200,000 on balloons. They were throwing parties. Don't tell me they don't have money. They have a shitload of money, right? But the greed has set in. The lies have set in. And it's not going to end well. Joseph's in the house. Let me give a shout out. Shout out to Jersey and New York. I'm proud of you. I'm super proud of you. You got under their skin. Keep on doing what you are doing, right? Do not give up, ladies and gentlemen, New York. We're behind you. We support you. We will amplify your voice. We will share your stories in social media. We are behind you 100%, New York. Just like we were behind Pittsburgh when they were striking. Just like we were behind Denver when they were striking, right? Just like how everybody was behind LA when they were striking. Do not give up. Keep on going, keep on pushing until they cave, until they buckle, right? Because if you keep the story in the media all the time, you win over the hearts and minds of the public, and Uber does not want that. That is why they send out people like Freddie Goldstein to do damage control. But she doesn't even do damage control, she actually does more damage, right? While she's trying to do damage control, she's actually doing more damage. It's because of her arrogance, it's because of her non-communication skills, right? So Freddie, yeah, I haven't given you the greatest review. And I cannot give you the greatest review, Freddie Goldstein, because you are a trash individual. Your heart and mind, you are owned, right? You are owned by these investors. You're owned by these executives. You sent in as the pit bull, but it is so see-through what you are doing, right? It's so easy to slap you down and to portray you as the bitch you are, because you are, right? You're fucking over a lot of good, hard-working people, and we don't like it. And that is why we continue striking. So New York, keep on doing what you are doing, and we're going to put this on steroids. We're going to go airport by airport by airport. We're going to keep people like Freddie Goldstein very, very, very busy, right? Just keep on breaking them down, right? Because your spirit is far higher. Your energy is far higher than you will see. She will quit her job because we are going to slap her down every single time. We're going to slap her down, right? Just like passengers and riders slapped her down on Twitter. It didn't do her ego very well. If you read those messages, how she was slapped down, executives and humans can only take so many slap downs and then they quit. Fuck, I quit. I can't take it anymore. I can't sleep at night. People are beating me up online, right? And they're beating you up for a reason online, right? Because your heart is not in the right place and you are not able to communicate and you are not managing. You're supposed to be a communications manager. You're not communicating and you're not managing. It's time for you to go, Freddie, right? I'm not saying Freddie Mercury, but Freddie Goldstein has to go. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm on my way to LAX to make money. I am going to stop at Starbucks. Anybody down there, if you want to drink a cappuccino or a tea or a coffee, I'll be there in 15 minutes. Please be my guest. You know where to find me. I have bought hundreds of coffees and croissants and everything down there already. I often feed the homeless down there. I give them money. People know me, and most importantly, the staff knows me. When I walk through the door, I get greeted with my name because I know how to treat the baristas and the staff and the managers. I know them all by name. They know me by name. And the day there was a homeless guy that walked in, big guy, two guys in fact, and they tried to steal the barista's money, I knocked one of them out. So I often get, people don't forget that I stood up for them. I got them their money back. You know, it's at least $100 in tips. The guy grabs and tries to run, boom, knock him out in the Starbucks. On the floor, ice cold, on the concrete, right? Ask anybody down there, they were there. It was on the footage. I looked at the cameras. It was beautiful. It was beautiful, right? So start treating people well, Freddie, and you will see amazing results. Start treating people well, Dara, and you will see amazing results, right? Come and visit us in Phoenix area. I'd love to. I need to come up to Phoenix. And by the way, please, if you haven't signed up, March the 3rd, check out my Kirbyville video. Come on down there, man. Free food, free drinks, only $5. You'll meet all the YouTubers, Pedro Santiago, Harry Campbell. I will be there. In fact, Uber executives are going to be there, Lyft executives. Doesn't mean, you know, you have to go and kiss their feet and cozy up. You can maybe, you know, walk up and tell them how you feel. I certainly am going to do that, right? It's, yeah, May the 1st is when the strikes begin, the 365 days of strikes. But March the 3rd, which is just around the corner, there's a massive, massive event, get together, downtown Los Angeles. Check out my video, it's called Kirbyville. Organized by Harry Campbell, the Rideshare guy. There's going to be a lot of guest speakers, a lot of good food, a lot of good drinks, a lot of giveaways. Come on down, right? Register. Underneath my video, there's a link. You get in for $5. You know, come pay for $5 and eat for $25. Right? You're $20 up. Take some videos, selfies. I'll do some live streams from there. I'm excited to meet you guys down there. I really am. And it's time to travel again. It's time to go to Phoenix. It's time to go to Vegas. Why not? Hang out with the hardworking people of this world. I salute you, everyone. It's getting really dark. I need to concentrate on the road, go make money right now. New York, keep on fighting. Freddie, you need to resign. Freddie Goldstein, you failed. You failed the drivers. You're cold-hearted. And sorry, but you're a flat-out bitch the way you handled this last strike and the way you spoke, how you dared to speak to drivers, right? And if you don't believe me what I'm saying, go and Google Uber News. You will see all the articles about LaGuardia, and you will see verbatim. I'm going to put it in the video, verbatim, how this Uber spokesman Freddie Goldstein countered or did the counter spin, right? It'll make you throw up because you did not communicate. You dictated and you manipulated. You did not communicate, right? So Freddie, let's go back to school. Let's learn the ABCs. Let's learn how to communicate, right? The basics. Love you all. Much love from California. It's cold out here. 3 more days of rain. Then I'm going to go to Rolling Loud with my kids to the concert. And rock on, my friends. Rock on. Please be safe out there. Really, I urge you, please be safe. Please take care of yourself, your families, your loved ones. Check in with them. Always outsmart the algorithms. Always work smart, not hard, right? Don't chase the diamond status. Don't chase the platinum status. Means nothing. Some coupon rewards or cookies at 7-Eleven means nothing, ladies and gentlemen. These little these little, what they call rewards that they try and dangle in front of you to get you to diamond, or don't buy into the psychology of the Olympic Games. Cherry pick, cherry pick, cherry pick. Cassiano, thank you. Favorite fruit, cherries. Cherry pick. And cherries are great. Eat a lot of cherries, they're antioxidant. And cherry picking in business means you're acting like a true independent contractor, right? Because that's what independent contractors should do. They should cherry pick the contracts that make sense to them, right? Don't engage in the Olympic Games of diamond and all that other bullshit where they're manipulating you and the algorithm and the house always wins. You have to think outside of the box, quick arithmetic, quick math, quick calculations. Does this make sense? Will I make money here? Should I pass on this? Should I accept this one? Should I cherry pick this one? You know, forget about the long trips. You know, the 100, 200 miles is just like money losers, because you're going to have dead trips back. Don't even, right now, the long trips. You know, if you asked me the same question 6-7 years ago, I would have said go for the long trips. And they're paying me $700-800 to go down to San Diego. Hell yeah. I was going, thank you, Travis Kalanick. But now, when they want to pay you $120 or $130 to go down to San Diego and you have to drive 3 hours back, hell no. You're not going to go 5.5 or 6 hours of driving for $130. Ain't happening. So no to long trips. Cherry pick the short ones. In the food delivery business, if there are good tips attached, take those. But we don't work for the onesies and the twosies. We don't. And don't insult us, companies. Don't, Tony Zoo, DoorDash, don't insult us with bullshit. Uber Eats, don't insult us, right? Pay us. Pay us what we deserve. Pay us decently and we will work. But we cannot survive on crumbs or peanuts. We cannot. And we should not and we will not work for shit, right? So rise up, my friends. And rise up. That's all I can say. Rise up, rise up, rise up. Fight back, fight back, fight back. And make it happen. Make it happen, my friends. God bless you all. Stay safe. This guy here in front of me just cut me off. You know, you have to always check out for road rage if these guys try to get out the car. I'm always ready for anyone that gets out the car. I got my hand right here on the trigger on the right-hand side. Just have to reach down. That's it. Cock. Take care of yourselves, my friends. You know what I'm talking about. Take care of yourselves. If anybody's down at Starbucks, hit me up for a coffee, or if you're hungry, I'm going to be there literally in 3 minutes at the Starbucks. Have a great night, my friends. Be safe out there. Good night.